Okay, guys, so as you know, we're working on Charles, right? And we're trying to determine the overall theme of this text. Of course, there might be some underlying smaller themes, but right now we're trying to find out what the main theme is. So before we really dig into this, tell me, talk amongst yourselves, tell me what is your definition of theme and how do you determine a story's theme? So I'm going to give you Post-it notes. I'll give you two because I'm expecting you to answer both questions, okay? You can talk to one another. What is your own personal definition of theme and how do you determine the story's theme? I always try to say like if someone asks you, Mary, what's theme? How would you describe it? So go ahead, write it down. But you can confer with one another if you have to.
I think theme is the message of the story, like the main idea.
Well, I think it's like
Of what it's talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
Well, like
Main
the
idea and
lesson
theme is different,
of
right? So
like
what is
what's
the
trying to teach
theme?
you.
Good. Okay, I like that lesson. Lesson learned.
Determine it by context clues.
When you're ready, you could either come up or give it to me and I'll post it. So I heard lesson learned. Okay, I like that. Okay. Oh, everyone's kind of on the same page, which is actually very good. Malak, you can go post your first answer. Lamise, can I let her put yours up? First one, baby, over here, up here. Okay, yep. How's it going, John? The lesson? Go ahead, go put it up. Brian? Okay. Now I want you to focus on the second question. How do you determine a story's theme? A poem's theme, a story's theme. For our purposes, a story, okay? Can I put yours up? Mm-hmm. This one? That's the theme. Okay.
Can you say it again?
Yep. How do you determine a story's theme? Like you've just read the whole book and you're like, gee, I know that the author wants me to walk away with a certain message, right? Mm-hmm. But what is that message? What clues in the text told me this is about friendship? This is about loyalty. Okay? That's why I gave you one of my last pencils. So you don't have to deal with that? Okay. I want you to share your answer, okay? Okay, guys, start finishing up your final answer. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just go post it right there. And Lamise, I want you to come up and I want you to explain your response to the second question. Go ahead. You all get posted. All right, just Ryan, you ready? Okay. Okay. Malak, you all set? Okay, well, Malak is finishing up her final sentence, okay? I just want to share that most of you have a real commonality here in saying that for the theme is the overall message that the author is trying to convey. It's what the author is trying to prove to you, and I think that you're all on target with that, right? So theme generally is the message, right? And now I asked, how do you determine a story's theme? I didn't have a chance to read all your responses, but I will while you're working. But I want Lamise to read hers, and I want you to really listen because I think she's really on the money right here.
I said using text details and digging deeper into the author is like kind of hiding. So the author doesn't give you the theme right away, and it doesn't say it directly in the text. So you kind of have to like dig deeper and try to figure out what he's trying to prove. And I also said context clues, which also help you like if you say somebody asks you find the theme of the story, you can use like all the clues that the author's showing you to use it.
I love that. I think you said it better than what I was gonna say. Okay, did you hear what she said? The thing I wanted you to like hone in on there is the hiding part. Did you agree that it's digging deeper into the text and really trying to like pull out what he's hiding? Okay, and she used quotation marks when she was talking, and she even wrote quotation marks around the word hiding. So now we're gonna come up with our own definition of theme. So what do you want me to write? Dictate it to me. John, start us off.
The message.
Okay, so the message, Mary, finish his little phrase here. The message, what else?
I was gonna say the message too. The message of what the author's trying to
The
say.
message the author,
Trying to hide.
I don't think he's trying to say it. I think he's saying it. So can I just say the message the author is giving us?
Yeah.
Or telling us? Okay. Giving us. Now going back to the hide thing, implied. That's the word I want you to know. Implied. Okay? Theme is usually implied, okay? So we're gonna go over a couple examples from Hatchet in a minute, and I'm gonna show you. Implied means, for lack of a better word, like hiding. It's not stated. When we open a book, it doesn't say, you're gonna love this book about being loyal to your best friends, right? It doesn't say that. It develops the character so that you are able to say, wow, you know, this character really went out of her way to do what her best friend needed her to have done. And wow, later on in the text, the character didn't go to the school dance because her friend was sick, and so she spent the night at her friend's house while everyone else was at the school dance, right? So that's all about being a true friend. The author doesn't come right out and say it, it's hiding, it's implied. So thank you for that. That was a great segue into what we're doing. Okay, so now I want to give you some examples of Hatchet. Do you guys remember when you were in 5th grade and you read Hatchet? Do you remember it was in the text collection? It was in the text collection, and it was only an excerpt from it, and there's a real novel of it, and they actually made a movie out of it, not titled Hatchet. Okay?
Wait, is that the book?
It's the book about the boy getting stranded in the forest. Okay, so now here, I'm giving you a couple. Mary, just listen for a second. Okay, you don't have to know it from beginning to end. I just took a couple little excerpts, and I'm gonna show you how I figured out what I think the theme of this text is. Okay, Brian is a 13-year-old boy who is a single passenger on a small plane that is flying from New York to northern Canada. The pilot suffers a major heart attack. Brian takes charge and tries to land the plane. So now I have to use my context clues. I have to see what he's trying to hide. So this tells me, see in italics, this is me making my own inference about what I think the theme is. This tells me that he is quick thinking and determined to not let the plane crash. The guy's having a heart attack. What do? You sit there and let the guy have a heart attack? No, you try to jump in, spring into action. You try to do something. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so he crashes the plane after all. Okay, he crashes it into a lake in the forest. He's left all alone in the forest with nothing but his hatchet. You all remember what a hatchet is?
Yeah.
Okay, like a small hand axe. Yeah, small axe. He starts using the hatchet to carve out a piece of the plane to create a shelter. Well, he's all by himself in the woods. What's he gonna do? Sit there and like hug his knees and cry? Right? Is that gonna get him anywhere? No, so he has to figure out what he can do. Again, this tells me he's creative and he's determined to stay as safe as he can while he's in the woods. Sitting there crying is not getting him out of the woods, right? But he has this tool, so let's do something with this tool. Okay, next thing. throughout the summer, Brian learns how to survive in the vast wilderness with only his hatchet. He discovers how to make fire with the hatchet, and he eats whatever food he can find, such as rabbits, birds, turtle eggs, fish, berries, and fruit. All right, we eat berries, we eat fruit, we eat some fish. We're not known to eat rabbits. We're not known to eat birds. It says turkey and chicken, right? And we definitely don't eat turtle eggs. But you do what you have to do to survive, right? So this is an example of his determination to survive. Yes, I would rather have this rabbit as my cute little pet, but right now I have to kill it and eat it if I want to stay alive, okay? So last scenario, he deals with various threats of nature, including mosquitoes, a porcupine, a bear, a skunk, a moose, wolves, and even with a tornado. Over time, Brian develops his survival skills and becomes a fine woodsman. He crafts a bow and arrows and a fishing spear to aid in his hunting. So now this tells me that Brian is very resourceful, right? He uses everything around him and does whatever it takes to stay alive. This is the ultimate sign of perseverance and determination. So now I'm going to come up with my own conclusion, and I'm going to determine this story's theme. And I wrote, using these events from the text, I conclude that a theme for Hatchet is determination and/or perseverance. There could be lots of other themes, but I'm basing it on this. Do you understand? So you guys are going to have something like this. I'm going to give you little scenarios, and you just have to say, this sounds like selfishness, or this sounds like obliviation. The parents are oblivious to the kids' behavior. Okay, so you have to fill in kind of like what I did. Okay, so I gave you each a copy of Charles. I've also made for you a glossary of some words. I didn't give you a picture to go with the words, okay? Because I do that with the 4th and 5th graders. So I've given you a glossary in case there are some words that are a little bit challenging, because in my opinion, some of these words were a little tricky, okay? But I want to bring attention to the last word on the list, and that word is fresh. So when we say something is fresh, what usually comes to mind?
Like cool.
It's cool, so you're using it kind of like in slang term, right? Oh man, that's fresh, those sneakers are fresh, right? Definitely not used this way in this text, right?
Like
what else
acting
is
up?
fresh? When I go to the supermarket, am I buying fresh produce or am I buying all the rotted stuff? I'm buying the fresh stuff, so the new, the fresh, the crisp, okay? In this context, how is fresh used to describe Charles? He has a fresh mouth, acting up. Okay, this text is older. Okay, so the terminology in it is a little different than what we would hear today. Like most, I still say that my son is fresh because sometimes he is fresh, right? But sometimes we say, oh, he's a bad kid, or he's got a disgusting attitude, or something like that. But in this case, fresh is acting up, acting out. Okay, so you have your glossary. You have my examples of Hatchet. All right, I'm going to give you the activity now. So I want you guys to start talking right now about Charles. Refresh your memories about the story. Okay, and start thinking about how you're going to determine the theme.
So
Those are for you two.
Charles,
It's like Lori,
it's about
basically.
this
And he's a
kid
kindergarten.
that's in kindergarten, and he acts up when he goes, and in school he acts a lot.
Oh, what happened today at school? How was school?
And he learns
And then
about this kid
he
named
mentions this boy Charles.
There's this boy named
Like
Lori.
he say that Charles is
And
fresh for acting up and being
Lies
rude.
about
And then
like another
when
person
he goes home every
named
time
Charles.
Is he
did
lying
something.
about another person?
No, like it's a fake person. He made up a
Okay.
person.
Good.
cover his
So,
actions.
Yeah,
what?
To cover up his actions.
To cover up his actions.
so he won't get himself
in trouble.
In trouble.
Yeah.
Actually, this text was a lot of fun for me to read because it was one of those surprise endings. You know how some texts have like a circular ending, like it starts one way, goes through the whole series of events, and it kind of ends up right back in the beginning. This was like a real surprise ending, and it just ended abruptly. There was no there was no there was the climbing action, and then it kind of just was like Noah's dive, right? It was like, what? There's no trolls in this class. The end. Okay, so you guys know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna give you guys your assignment in a second. You guys are going to, I gave you lots of pages here, okay? You don't have to use all of these. Choose 5 or 6 of these scenarios. You could work together. You could do this independently. But ultimately, you need to determine like the behaviors here, the actions here, the attitudes here. How does it help you figure out the theme? Okay, like for the first one, I prefer that you kind of don't do the first one. Lori slams the front door, shouts, "Isn't anyone here?" To me, that's like, he's acting fresh, right? Like, who does this? Who walks in the house like this? You're 5 years old. You know, but you're not 5 years old, okay? It might be a little different for you. He's 5 years old. How dare you? Okay? So choose 5 or 6 that are ultimately going to help you determine the theme. All right? But before I set you off, what do we need to be successful at this task? What do we need to be able to do? Let me give us 1 point.
Like find the theme and like details to support it.
Okay. Well, the overall thing is we want to find the theme. So we want to look at details. Should I be looking at them or should I be looking at them closely? So what's like a word for that? Thank you, Ryan. I can analyze. ANLYZ. I can analyze text details. What else do I need to do? Other than just looking at text details, am I looking at character behavior?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the actions.
Okay. I can analyze again?
Oh.
All right. Analyze character, actions,
And then behavior.
behavior. One other thing. How about response? Not so much verbal response, but just the way the parents respond to him, right? Character, actions, behavior, and response. Like, are they really completely, think that
Yeah, they believe.
they completely believe Charles is real. So it kind of is like they're kind of detached almost from like who their kid really is, right? And me as a teacher, I've been in a lot of situations where I'm like, no, he's doing this and he's doing that, and they're like, well, he doesn't do that at home, and I'm like, yeah, right, right. Okay, anything else? One last, John?
You also analyze thoughts and character.
The thoughts, actually. Okay, character, actions, behavior, responses, and thoughts. Thank you, John. And lastly, we'll just do, I can determine a theme, right? What one?
See, we should go.
Thank you. Okay. I can determine a theme, or the theme, or if there's more than one theme. Period. Happy? Okay. Okay. So you guys could get going. You could work together if you'd like, if it's more beneficial to you. And you girls, I just wrote regular lined paper. You're gonna pull out your own scenarios, or actions, or thoughts, or behaviors, okay? I'm asking them to do about 5. I would like for you to do 4 to 5 as well, okay?
Okay.
I have pencils right here.
Your pencil's right there.
Come on, let's not waste time. I brought 12 brand new pencils for you guys. I know pencils are a hot commodity in schools.
When the story
And I'm not into pens, so. All right, John, what do we got? No, don't you slam the door. Come on. Stop.
Yeah, I forgot to say.
when Lori slams the door,
No, don't do slam the door. We just collectively did slam the door, and we all said he was fresh. Okay, so I kind of sequenced the whole story here for you guys, so you can go anywhere you want. Whichever one
Lori
you.
explains that a teacher spanks a child for being French.
Okay,
So he was his behavior was
Okay.
like really disrespectful.
Okay, but whose behavior was really disrespectful?
Charles.
Right, okay, so make sure, because right now we're tricked into thinking that this is in fact a little fresh boy named Charles, right? Okay. What do you got, Ryan?
Lori calls his father.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't fly, right? Not at any age. So what does that tell you about Lori? Or hold on, what does it tell you about the father's reaction? Maybe you could find it in the text. I don't think the father reacted the way most fathers would. Tony, you walk in the house, you go, Dad, you're dumb. How's that gonna end up for you?
Grounded.
Not so great, right? Not so great. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Thank you, because you guys told me thoughts and behavior and responses. So, you know, let's look at the parents here.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's the narrator of the story, guys? Who's telling the story? The mother. So this is from the mother's perspective, right? So whenever you see
Mother's
it's
point
the
of view.
mother. It's the mother's point of view. So what does that imply here?
His father.
Okay, like maybe you want to look at the dad here. We already know. Every single one of these would apply. Lori's fresh, Lori's fresh. We're not
I
going
would think
there.
this would be like.
What is the father's reaction and how does that tell
His
you
dad didn't do anything.
where this story is going in
But
terms of
his
theme?
father didn't
His
like
Lori's
respond to
Lori's
what he
father
said.
didn't respond to.
Yeah.
Lori's father didn't respond to Lori's actions.
Lori just started
I
laughing
love that.
and
Make
then
sure you share
the
that.
mother
Okay, I want
asked
you to share that.
why Charles hit the teacher.
Did it turn off? Wow. I love that. I love that you wrote react to that. Because I know what my reaction would have been.
Ethan's home and starts.
Yeah. So what is this telling you? Look at the word here. He purposely did that. What is that telling you? Like she's a baby after all, right? So it's not like it was like, oh, sorry, Ryan, I just knocked over your drink. It was purposely. So it could have been looking as vivid as him just simply turning it over, okay? Or maybe he's sneaking it, but purposely. So that has to start to give you an inkling of like who this kid is, all right? Because right now we're focused on Charles, but we need to look at what Lamy said. We need to look at what the author's hiding. Like he slipped in there that he purposely spilt the milk. So that's not a nice kid. Who does that to their baby sister or brother? Yes. Yes, like he's laughing insanely. Like he's going, ha ha ha, you're dumb, and then he's laughing insanely. I feel like this is a text that even though you know the answer to it by the end, when you read it again and again, you'll find little nuances that show you, oh, this Lori kid, he's not nice at home. You know, like purposely spilled the milk, laughed insanely at his father after he called his father like a mop head or something like that.
And it makes more sense.
It might not make any sense in your mind, but it does show, like, me as a parent, I might look at this a little differently than you guys. Or even me as the teacher might look at it differently than you guys as a student.
Okay. So the next one.
Do that one.
That one?
It shows
Do it.
that
Yeah, I
the
like that.
parents are worried that Charles is
It shows-
making an
it shows that,
influence
like, Lori doesn't
on
care
Lori.
about what his parents
They're
are
trying to
saying.
say.
Yeah,
He's being rude.
yeah. Because again, that doesn't work. When your parents are addressing you, you don't
You
just
have
turn
to
your
listen.
back. Right. You may not like what they're saying. You might be
parents
rolling
are
your eyes behind your head.
worried,
Okay, but you don't walk away.
that Charles has an influence on Lori.
I like that one. Because now they're thinking what? Now they're
That's
thinking,
how-
oh, poor Lori, he's got this beast in his class, right? So I like that one. How many you guys have?
3.
Three? Okay.
We just need like 2.
One or two more. Mhm.
Let me do this one. Lawrence explains that Charles hits the teacher.
Okay.
It shows that like
He lied to his parents. Okay, Lori lied to his parents about like a made-up person named Charles hitting the teacher.
Yes.
So every day
love
he
that one.
comes home and lies to his parents of what like he does in school, of what like this made-up person does in school.
Time out. Can you say that he's lying? You don't know that yet. Right?
Yeah.
You don't know that yet. That's why some of these are like straightforward and some of them you might not want to try because we don't know that he's lying. Because as I'm reading it, I'm going, oh my God, a 5-year-old boy can kick the gym guy in his face and all this other stuff. So just watch your explanations because you're not supposed to know yet that it's not Charles. That it's all in fact Lori.
it shows that like Charles is disrespectful to the
What do you
teacher,
think?
and that Charles might like
Can you speak?
make Lori do something bad.
Maybe that's the way the parents are thinking. Go with that then, John. I like that, right? Because he's reporting all this back and
They're like he's a bad influence.
to stop.
They
He's bad
think
influence.
they think-
She thinks he's a bad influence. Yeah. All right. So in about a minute or two, okay, I want you guys to think about sharing at least one. Okay, whether you're in the organizer or you're on your own. Think about sharing at least one.
You want to do one more? Or that's it?
Can I see which one maybe I want you to work on? So Tony's working on this one. The mom thinks kindergarten's too tough. So I want to ask you to share that one. All right? How about this one? The father explains that Lori will meet many people in the world who are just like Charles. It's better that Lori is meeting someone like him now rather than later in life. Because I know what that tells me. Okay? What does this mean to you?
Well, it shows that like his father is like just letting Lori like meet people that are bad and doesn't care if Charles influences her.
Okay?
to do something
So
bad.
something along those lines, yes. Okay, so me as a parent, that's why I'm telling you, we're looking at this with different lenses. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this guy, he's just been called a dust mop. The kid comes in the house and he slams the door. He starts screaming, is anyone home? Okay, he walks away when I'm talking to him. He's spilling my little baby's milk. So this statement to me makes it seem like his parents really don't know their child, right? They don't know who this kid is, right? So I would go a little deeper in that way, because as I was reading the story a couple times, I was like, wow, these parents are clueless to who their kid is. But I think you guys might have picked up on that because, like, especially you, Lamise, you're talking about what's hidden, right? So you got to look for those trigger words like purposely and insolently and all those other things that are describing his actions, like especially the words from the glossary. Okay. So finish up your last one, okay? Because we're running a little bit out of time. And I want you to share at least one. So check over your work and think about the one you want to share. If you don't want to share, that's fine. Okay, but I would like at least 2 or 3 people to share. So who's going to be the brave soul to go first? Oh, Mario Lamise. I'll let you duke it out. Who's going to go first, girls? Go ahead, Lamise, tell us. Listen, guys, because they had to pull out their own, okay? So let's see if they're on target.
I put the explanation first. I said, the parents begin to think that Lori's actions are changing in a negative way, but as they don't know, their thoughts are that Charles is a bad influence. It states in the text, on Saturday, I remarked at my husband, do you think kindergarten is too unsettling for Lori? All this toughness and bad grammar, and this Charles boy sound like such a bad influence. They think that it's Charles, basically, but at this point they don't know anything because all they know is what Lori says to them when he comes home.
Right, all they know is what their little 5-year-old is telling them, right? So they believe him. I guess they don't think they have a reason to question him. They're kind of just believing him, but yeah. So they're kind of thinking like, oh no, he's going to be influenced by this kid. But we're smarter, right? We're 7th graders. Are we easily influenced by bad behavior? You are? You're easily influenced by bad? That's the wrong answer. No, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So very nice. I like that. Now, who else wanted to go? Toyin, did you have anything to add to that one? Because you did that one too about kindergarten. No? Okay. All right. 2 seconds. Okay. Go ahead, John. Which one did you do?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it, but it's in your minds? Go ahead.
It said that Lori said that Charles hit a boy in the stomach and made him cry.
Okay.
So it shows that when he said that to his mom and dad, his mom and well, his parents don't care, and they're questioning it, but they really don't care. And it shows that like if L'Oreal is around Charles, he might hit someone else and make him cry.
Right. That same bad influence. So I guess we'll let all these kids go. Tell me though, what do you think? I love colors. Are you ready? Okay. Tell me, what could a theme for this story be? Think about that. Think about that, and then we're gonna chart that. Okay? What do they just go right next door?
What's up, John? What's up, John?
I don't know if you can pause it. I don't know.
All right, I'll pause.
I think if we stop it, I have to figure out how to splice it yet again. Okay, so having worked through this, having talked to your friends, what are some themes or the theme that you interpreted this story to be? John, you want to do it?
Maybe like it's better to tell the truth than lie all the time.
So what's like a catchy thing we say? Honesty is the best policy. So you want to say something along those lines? Okay, honesty is the best policy.
Don't be disrespectful to others.
So again, okay, well let's think about, didn't he kind of get rewarded when he handed out the chalk? He handed out, and he received an apple, so he got rewarded. Did he get rewarded when he kicked that guy? No. Did he get rewarded when he hit the girl with the seesaw on the head? So when did he get rewarded? When he was doing the right thing. So what can we say about that? How could I phrase that as a theme?
Tell the truth, you get rewarded.
Forget telling the truth. We've already got that. So how about good behavior pays off? Or good behavior gets Rewarded. Okay, good behavior. Behavior gets rewarded. Okay. Anything else? So for me, from like the parents' point of view, I think the parents, for lack of a better term, were like ignorant to who their kid really is. So for me, I could have wrote ignorance is bliss, because here they are in their little la la land, thinking like, oh my God, who's this Charles that's gonna impact our little Lori and make him do terrible things? So I would almost say like ignorance is bliss in this situation. Go ahead, John. Another one, John?
Yeah, maybe like pay attention to others.
So
Be focused.
stay focused.
I don't get how that contributes to the story. No, because like
How does, okay, so she doesn't agree with you. She doesn't know how it contributes to the story. So tell me, go ahead, Mary, why not?
staying focused. That's not because like, that has nothing to do with the story.
But give them a chance to explain, because who has to stay focused?
The parents have to stay focused to
Okay, then you should have said that.
kid to Lori because they didn't know who he really was.
Okay, so Mary, he's not completely off. So like,
I thought you was talking about Lori.
so because you didn't give him a chance, you jumped right on him. All right. So how about like be attuned, right, to your surroundings. Be alert to what's going on in your own house, right? Be alert.
Well, not in your own house, because maybe like someone is doing something at your school.
Okay.
So like,
kind of like, okay, so how can we phrase that? Like, know yourself and your family? Like, I don't know how you want me to phrase that, but that's where you're going with it, right? You're trying to say, like, they had no idea. They were not focused in on their kid at all. So
I know, but like maybe like your teacher's not focused about you and something like that.
Okay, so why don't we just say,
Be alert about on your surroundings or something like that.
know yourself and those around you. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay?
that's good.
No.
Or what about don't believe what other people always say?
Okay, that works. Know yourself and those around you.
Don't believe what others are trying to say.
I love it. All right, good. I like how we came up with a couple of things, but good. Thank you. Thanks, guys. You did a really nice job. So the only other last thing to do is just fill out a really quick exit ticket, okay? Fill out a really quick exit ticket. The rubric's at the bottom. And it says, which specific event or action in the text helped you determine the theme of Charles? Do you think there is more than one theme in this text? Explain. I've given you some sentence starters and your rubric is there. So a 1 is there's no theme stated or your theme is completely off base. A 2 is somewhat, and a 3 is you've clearly given your theme and explains where you came up with that rationale. Okay? So thank you very much. And everyone has a little bit clearer picture of this. You guys are able to identify theme now in almost anything you read, you think?
Yeah.
But is it always outwardly stated?
No.
No, we have to look for those little hidden words, that hidden vocabulary, and those clues. So excellent. All right. I probably should have given you guys the index cards to write on, but it's fine. All right, thank you.